He's a college football analyst, 97.7 The Zone in Huntsville, Alabama. Wes, it's good to see you. It's good to hang out with you this week.
Yeah, been fun, always.
Hope you're doing well, and going to spend a little time talking Alabama Day. I guess you always know when the Tide's in the building, right?
It's unbelievable. You thought it would be different over here because we're in Atlanta. The buzz in this room has been double what it was yesterday when Kirby was in here, and just kind of surprised that it's surprised, not surprised, I guess. It's just the energy level that they bring is unbelievable, and Damian Harris to me is one of those success buy into the system success stories. What an interview! Talks like an NFL player really already should be really in his own right, but has a chance to become the all-time rusher if he gets over 1,400 yards in Alabama history. And here's a guy that I didn't think was very good. Had a very good freshman year at all. He's just gotten better every year. And last year he was something else. And it's just fun to watch kids like that get better every year.
It is. And we were talking with DJ Shockley a couple of minutes ago. And, we get caught up in the championships, which is there. But it's also fun to watch these kids develop. And I get excited about post-football. And people in Tuscaloosa are like, man, what are you really talking? No, I want to see what Barrett Jones and all these guys that have been on this leadership training post-football, what they're really able to do in life.
Yeah, and a lot of guys I played with wouldn't have had a chance to do anything in life hadn't been for the education they got, not only on the football field, but especially in the classroom, because a lot of the guys wouldn't have been able to go to college. So, but the life lessons you learn on the football field are, to me, as good as as important as the schooling.
Let me ask you. I want you to take the hat off for a media guy. Okay, being an alum of this program, seeing Alabama return to this level, what's the sense of pride?
I try not to show it on the radio because I find ourselves talking about it because I'm in awe of it. I'm in absolute awe of what they're doing. And I don't think people appreciate enough what they're doing. My son was there. He's at FAU. My daughter's graduating. I've had somebody there the last 10 years.
Wow.
And I'm not going to have anybody. Well, actually, my nephew's walking on, so we're going to try to live through him. But it's just being so close to it and watching it. And just everything makes sense. Sometimes you just look at it and say, well, that makes sense. Everything Coach Saban does just makes sense. It's just common sense and doing all the little things that normally haven't been done and taking the time to the detail. It's just amazing to me. Some of the stuff they say is luck, but to me, we've had some against Clemson, we weren't lucky. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's just unbelievable that game in, game out, the way they bring it. And now you have this leadership thing going on where they're just in the top 5 every year, no matter what. And that's, to me, the fact that they had 10 people get drafted off the defense, I think, right? Or signed off the defense. And to me, their front 7, if you look at them, really, huge loss. I think Terrell Lewis, losing him, people don't realize what on third down and long or at the end of the game, what a big deal he is with him and Roquan Davis twisted and everything, doing the games and how good they are. It's almost impossible to block those guys without 3 people, and that changes the whole dynamic. And even then, they don't pick them up when they twist. And I watched. Anyway, it's just the way these guys just reload every year. The front 7, those guys to me are their first 2-round guys in the first team. Now, Coach Saban's, he always talks to his team. He was talking to his team today.
Oh, sure.
And said, hey, we got a lot of openings. We have a tremendous amount of openings. Maybe not on the first team, but to be the 2 deep. And it's time to get ready to fill those, and you're going to have a shot. So he's just magical. The whole thing's magical. The biggest disappointment for me today is Cedric's not here.
I guess they didn't have room for Cedric
On the plane, I
the
hear.
plane.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Well, I think the ESPN's doing an all-access thing, I reached out to Cedric to get a report on that. I haven't heard back, but
yeah, we missed Cedric.
yeah,
Cedric, if you're back in Tuscaloosa listening on Tide 102.9, we missed you because it's really not I'm not accustomed to seeing Nick Saban without Cedric.
No, no. I tease Cedric when I see him. I tell him he's the second most powerful man in Alabama.
I'd love to read some of the stories.
Well, he's got a book. If he ever writes a book, it's going to be,
New York bestseller.
Forget about Alabama retirement system.
All right, Ross Pierce Baker was sliding through here, and I don't know if you guys had a chance.
We did talk to him.
I'm really curious about that conversation. Being the position that you played.
32 years ago, I was at Media Days as a center. It's interesting what he said, and I understand what he said. He said the first time they moved him over there just to try him, he's like, "Oh, I'll just give this a try." Your whole, and it's the truth, when you play center and you're making the calls, you're the leader out there, you have to play a little different than you did at guard. The guard to me is the enforcer, right? He's the guy he's cleaning up on every play, he's pulling. You got to be kind of mean to play guard. Center, you can be mean, but you got to make every call. You got to be cerebral. You become a student of the game. You got to know what that guy across there, what they're trying to do. You have to make calls accordingly. I can see it different from his interviews in the past to this year. I think he's ready to play center, and that's huge for Alabama because they have to they have a lot of talent, but they have to find the 5 best guys because the defensive secondary is going to be young and inexperienced. Now, a lot of talent, but when you seem to see people score, they're wide open. And they're wide open because busts are what gets you in trouble more than anything in Coach Saban's defense. Because he has the perfect defense for everything you're going to run if they can get in the defense. And as long as everybody runs the same defense, even if it's not that perfect defense, they still got a shot. But it's when somebody has one call and the other guy has a different call, there's going to be somebody wide open, and that's what leads to problems. So it's so important for the offense to be able to score points early until this defense can find the right mix. We saw that last year. Diggs was going to start the first game, did start the first game. Really didn't play much the rest of the season except special teams because he just it's different in practice than it is in a game. I don't care what they say. And experience trumps all.
We're talking to Wes Neighbors, a all-SEC offensive lineman at the University of Alabama. He's also a college football analyst, 97.7 The Zone in Huntsville, Alabama. So let me go to this offensive line. I'm not going to drag you into this quarterback competition, okay? I just want to ask you, left-handed, right-handed quarterback, right-handed quarterback, is there a difference with
when you snap the ball?
responsibility?
Yes. If you're snapping the ball to them and they're not in the shotgun, there's a big difference.
Okay.
And you have to know which one's in there. I've done this. Mike Shula was left-handed. Ben Sutton was right-handed. All right. There's a difference of where the laces are. So you have to put the laces in a different spot and snap it a different way to the left-handed you do a right-hander when they're under center. Obviously, shotgun, you not so much.
But okay. So you got a guy that's learning the center position.
Yeah.
And how much is that? Just mental?
Everything's mental.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying. Okay.
But yeah, you got to know who's in there. You got to pay attention. And we had several left-handed quarterbacks and several right-handed quarterbacks, and you changed. I can't remember which one was left, which one was right, but it's a.
But muscle memory, I'm just trying to think of how you get into that.
Well, you got to be an athlete to play anyway. I don't care if you're offensive lineman, you have to be an athlete, especially at Alabama. So you better be able to. Heck, I broke my hand my senior year against Auburn, the game before Auburn against Temple. I snapped left-handed. So, you have to be able to do certain things, and that's why they practice so much. You can't go out there and do it on the fly. That doesn't work. It's all muscle memory, like as you say, but you're learning all kind of different muscle memories. And boy, practice is important, and doing it every day until you're not having to think about it. It's not a thought. It's just reaction to what's going because you've seen everything.
Raekwon Davis played with a lot of confidence in the spring. Help me as an offensive lineman. What you see in this young man?
I see a guy that can touch you before you can touch him. Big, long hands. Guy that has a lot of moves, a lot of strength, a lot of power. Has learned a lot in his last year. You can see him growing. Different moves, spin moves. Swim moves. Guy can bull rush, can do about anything, and can run. The kid can run, and it's a lot. Some people play, and I'm a young kid at heart. I still think I could block some of them. He's not one of them.
Okay. Okay.
Terrence Cody, he wasn't one of them. Terrence Cody's the first guy I looked at and said, nah, I'm glad I'm right here. So, and Raekwon, same thing. Raekwon, and you hear Coach Saban talks about it. The only thing that can hold Raekwon back is Raekwon. Can he get better and continue to get better? And you hear Coach Saban challenges him to do that because he's as good as he wants to be. He said it several times, and he is. And he's special. And a lot of people have said, hey, I think that this guy's the best defensive lineman. This guy is best. If Raekwon keeps getting better, he's the best defensive lineman in the Southeastern Conference. If he wants to be, he is.
And
he's not there yet, but he has the potential to be that guy.
Lord, you get me excited. I mean, we get Nick Saban here. You probably provide some excitement, and I'm looking forward to just a dynamic year. I think this is going to be it's going to be fun to watch this team develop because there's so much unknown about this team.
Well, to me, it's the secondary is unknown. They surprised me in the spring. I thought they looked really good. A lot of depth on this team. Having to lose 2 linebackers already before you start the season, 1 to suspension, 1 to injury, not good. They're going to have to find some backups, have some guy coming in that are capable. Are they going to be able to, as a freshman, it's hard to play as a freshman. There's so much. The school, everything's different. If you were used to being the biggest guy, which a lot of these guys are, now you're not. You got to play different. There's a lot thrown at you as far as it's a complicated defense. You talk to anybody, this defense, if you can learn this defense in the NFL is a cakewalk. So there's a lot to learn, and if you can overcome all that, and be a backup and come in and play and not being thrown in the spotlight like Dante Hightower was. His best years was his freshman and his senior year. Injuries play a part.
Sure.
The one thing we haven't talked about this year, everybody has all these grand predictions here, brand predictions here. I'll make a prediction right now. Whoever has the less injuries is going to win the West because it's going to come down to that. I don't think these teams that have the really good quarterbacks all the way through the conference better than we've ever seen probably. But I don't think that there's a lot of young guys. Look at Georgia. How many young guys they're going to have to play? They get a couple people hurt. No experience. LSU, same thing. Have probably some pretty good athletes. They get hurt, no experience. Alabama defensive front 7, maybe as good as the front 7 they've had. But if they get a couple of people hurt, and you get some freshmen running around. It only takes one guy on defense getting out of the position that can cause you a problem. So I think injuries are the number one thing in the West, and Alabama has the best. They have the best 22, to me. Auburn has some issues on the offensive line. If they develop that, I'd rather play Auburn the first couple of games than the last game. I'll tell you that. But depending on the injuries. So that's what I think is going to be the main thing, both in the East and the West. If you can tell me who offensive line will go throughout the year without an injury, or you know what I'm saying?
Sure, I do. No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's.
Well, maybe that's what was so special about last year to be able to overcome those injuries.
It was, and when they came back, they were better. They were better than when they left. That's just tremendous. The leadership at Alabama may be the most special thing. I went to the Tennessee game, I noticed on the field before, I go, that looks like an hour and a half before the game, guys running route against the defensive back. Then you'd be talking to him. I look, it was Minka Fitzpatrick.
Wow.
It helped me out, number 5. I think he was number 5. And he was teaching him. Shaim Carter, who ended up playing the championship game. After the long touchdown, he played the nickel in the game. They were working an hour and a half before the game. He was helping him teach him stuff about routes. I mean, they ran so much. If I ran that much before a game, I wouldn't have made it the game. I'd have to tap out. Those guys ran and ran and ran and then played the whole game. But that's what's special is these guys. And, we were talking earlier about Damian Harris. Damian Harris out there, he came back. He wants to be the leader of this team. He thinks he wants to teach the young guys what they're supposed to do. Not only on the field, but off the field. That's what's made this run special. And every year there's one guy. So I'm just proud. Yeah, I think it's made it. I was proud to be from Alabama when I was a kid. I was proud enough to have an opportunity to play there. But I'm proud enough to have my son coach there. But the proudest thing I am is it just continues and continues and continues. And I'm hopeful a long time after I'm gone, it will still be continuing.
Wow. We'll end it with that. Wes Neighbors, 97.7 The Zone in Huntsville, Alabama. You can listen to it. And, I don't know what the guy's name is, but I hear you talking about insulation all the time.
Yeah.
And
Eagle Insulation, that's my buddy.
Insulation.
Yeah.
I mean, you think he can come in Tuscaloosa and put a little bit of insulation up?
He can. He'll save you some money.
About you saving
He's
some
my
money.
buddy, and here's the thing about it.
Okay.
He's the biggest Auburn fan you'll ever meet.
Oh, well, he probably wouldn't put insulation.
No, he would.
I hear you talking about it all the time. I'm thinking, there's a lot of times I get off the air, and I'm still hungry for college football. I flip over on my TuneIn
sometimes
app.
We talk about you.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Hopefully it's good. But
it is good. We have fun. Have fun.
Well, listen, man. We're talking college football. I mean, somebody asked me, said, man, this is a rough week. Those brick masons out there right now that are listening to the show, and they're out there putting mortar on a brick, that's hard work, man. We're talking college football.
Hey, listen, those guys are going to be in camp next week. That's hard work, too.
Sure.
And actually, Eagle Insulation does brick, too.
Okay.
They do brick, too.
All right. So there's a plug for Eagle Insulation.
Yeah.
All right. I just hear you talking about it all the time. All right, Wes. Thank you, man.